What's up, Matt? And hello to anyone who is here, if at all. Not much. Was day off. So basically, I woke up late, went to the gym, and came home, played some Warzone. Speaking of Warzone, I don't know if you got my message, but I actually think it would be. It suddenly dawned on me because Warzone, like Call of Duty, will do um, promotions with different franchises. Like right now, or just recently, they did The Boys. So they had a couple characters that you could buy, like character skins or whatever, from The Boys. And it suddenly dawned on me. I'm like, well, they could do Mission Impossible, so they could have like Ethan Hunt as an operator that you could run around the war zone with. It might be expensive, but I think more than anything, like, and I don't know how like stuck on this kind of thing it would be, but the idea of having Tom Cruise likeness running around getting shot up or blown up or something might be a little strange. Oftentimes, though, if I recall, they're not actually paying for it. Like it's a partnership. So it's like something that it kind of helps promote whatever the franchise is, and then when they sell the goods to play the characters and all that, they may make a cut of it or something. I just think it would be pretty awesome, like be running around as Ethan Hunt in like a slick suit with some aviators on, with an SMG and RPG on your back. So I put the hashtag server life in the title for the stream because I actually thought, oh yeah, they've done a whole bunch of them. Like not all the time. They try to keep them somewhat grounded in reality because it's Call of Duty, so it's a quote unquote realistic shooter, military shooter. But I mean, you're talking Warzone. and it's a free-to-play thing. So anytime they have a chance to monetize it, you know, we get some kind of cool characters in there. The last version of Warzone, because this is actually Warzone 2, but the first one that debuted back in like 2020 or whatever, that one, it was the only time I spent money on Warzone because they had a character, and she's literally just she's a YouTuber, like a gun tuber, named Alex Zedra, and she's like super hot, right? But they did a character that you could get of her and play her in Warzone, and that was like the one time I ever spent money on Warzone. I was like, yep, gotta have it. Of course, the funny thing is you don't even really get to see your character except for in the menus, so it's just everyone else sees you because it's a first-person shooter. Whoops. Yeah, she does both gun tubing stuff, and she plays Call of Duty, streams Call of Duty. So it kind of made sense to have her as somebody you could play. So unfortunately, because they're dumb, none of your purchases carried forward into the new version of Warzone 2, when that came out. So yeah, lost it. That's why I just avoid spending money on these games as service, like free-to-play things, as much as possible, because, you know, more than likely there's going to be a new iteration at some point, and they're going to be like, oh, all that stuff you bought, well, too bad, buy new stuff. But yeah, so I decided, I'd mentioned it in the last stream a couple days ago, but I want, because it's something I know about, obviously, you know, service industry, I wanted to go through and find some content to kind of watch and talk about regarding quote-unquote server life, hashtag server life, what do you want to call it. But yeah, I found a channel that's actually called Server Life. And I haven't watched these videos yet. They seem interesting. They seem like satirical regarding working as a server or bartender or whatever, working in the service industry. So I think it'd be kind of cool to, like, with the perspective of having worked in this industry for 6 years and done basically a little of everything, just kind of see how the satire matches up with the real world experience. And then there's some other interesting content I saw when I just searched server life on YouTube, from people who are servers. And so I think it'd be kind of interesting to kind of critique things they say and just figure it out. So what's up, Cosmic? It's the first time I've seen you here. It's awesome. Yeah, Disney cracking it. I just don't know, because Disney's already talking about raising the prices on Disney Plus, Hulu, and all that stuff. So you're gonna double whammy. You're gonna raise the prices, and you're gonna start cracking down on password sharing. I don't think it's a very good combination. As long as Paramount Plus doesn't suddenly get weird, because right now I pay, I think it's like $6 a month for Paramount Plus, mainly for like Star Trek, because all the like Star Trek content went there, and then obviously like Star Trek Strange New Worlds and stuff is on Paramount Plus, and it also allows for account sharing. So I pay $6 a month, and my mom, my best friend, my brother, they all get to watch, stuff on there. The thing is, they only watch one thing. They watch like Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and that's it. And then half the time I'm not even watching it. So I'm paying for it, and people are getting utility out of it, but it's not like we're all like power users just sitting here constantly binging stuff on Paramount. So I'm hoping Paramount Plus doesn't go there. It's not the biggest service ever already, so. Yeah, they do seem to want to go that way. We were all supposed to be cutting the cable with cable or satellite, those services many years ago. And it just became you're paying more if you want access to all this content, all these different shows, because they're all over the place. You're going to end up paying a lot more than you were just paying for cable before. And you still oftentimes have like ads and stuff like that. Yeah, it's getting so expensive. Like, basically, you're left making a choice. Well, maybe there's shows on Netflix I want to watch, or Netflix original movies or whatever. Maybe there's some, I want to have Star Wars content, and that's on Disney. Maybe I want Star Trek or old Paramount shows and stuff like that, and that's on Paramount Plus. So it's like all over the place, and you either pay a ton of money to have access and watch one or two things on each service, or you're left having to pick and choose what you do pay for. And then you pay for it all, and you're super excited. Oh, I got all this content, all these shows, and I can share the accounts with my family and stuff so that they can watch it too. It's which you could do with cable, you could have another box in the other room. But now they're going to charge you as if it's a cable box in the other room that you pay for. Yeah, and physical media is going further and further and further away. It becomes harder to find. That's why, it's funny, because I always tell people I rarely watch movies like at home. I love going to the theater, but at home, I have like a nice big collection of Blu-rays of movies and anime and a few of my favorite shows and stuff like that. I never watch them, but I make sure to buy them when I can, because I worry about the day when the streaming service takes it off or something like that, or maybe I don't want to pay for a monthly subscription. I still want to have access to that program. Or the other problem, video games too has that same issue. Like, I love services like Game Pass, and digital purchases are really nice, but I think there was a study done that shows something like 97% of games from, like, if you just go back a couple generations and back, they're just not accessible currently on any devices. $400. Which Spider-Man? Like a movie or cartoon series? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking about that. Yeah, the collector's editions of these games, especially if you want the physical copy, they're getting kind of insane. Some of them these days, they don't even include an actual copy of the game. They just include a code and then a steelbook case. It's like, well, what good is the steelbook case if there's nothing in it? I remember, and I know this is like me being an old man, but I remember, especially having worked at GameStop back in 2006 and 2007, when the standard was you bought, well, it was $50 games, but then it became 60. But you bought your full price game, and that was the full game. And sometimes just for pre-ordering, not any additional money, just pre-ordering, you got like bonus content, which is really cool. And then for $10 more, the standard across the industry for $10 more was you could get the collector's edition. And that would include like premium packaging, so like a steel book or some kind of, special casing for it. And it would include usually a bonus disc that had behind the scenes content, extra content to download, making of, like, really cool stuff like that. And then oftentimes, like, again, industry standard, because I bought so many of these things back in the day, it would have like an art book, like a really cool little art book. I think I still have a collection of those from back in the day. But it made it so worth it. 10 extra bucks, and the items that they were giving you only cost them a couple extra dollars, but they were making that little bit of a premium on. But it added something to it, it just felt really cool. Now your game is $60 or $70, and all you get for an additional, usually it's like $20 now, but sometimes even more, is some kind of lame aesthetics, downloads, or occasionally, like you said, you gotta spend $400 to get anything, decent with it. Yeah, I think it's going to become a bigger and bigger problem. I know that some people have tried to put a spotlight on it, so hopefully, because gaming, gamers are very, I feel, protective of the hobby and the history of it, so hopefully something can be done to protect the. It's a pretty sweet deal for them. It's so true. It's always going in that direction, huh? The last time I bought a collector's edition of any sort, dang, I can't even remember. Right, there's that too. They'll cut content to add as a pre-order bonus. Like, bro, it's a scam. Like, you're literally just making it so there's less there to begin with, or stuff that should have been part of the game to begin with. And then saying, okay, well, now if you want that, here, pay an extra $10. And then oftentimes it's not even that much, but it makes you feel like you need it, Yeah, and that's the thing is, I love like a good steelbook or something, but honestly, like, there still needs to be a disc in it. Because, so a really great example, I've never really been big into fighter games. Like, here and there, play some random stuff. I remember playing like Tekken Tag at the arcade back in the day, and Soul Calibur. But Street Fighter 6 was coming out, and number one, Jury is a thing, so I was like, I want to play that game. And then two, it just seemed like a fun game. They added like some additional content. I was like, yeah, I want to play that. So I decided to dive in, and it was either Diablo 4 or Street Fighter 6. I decided to get Street Fighter 6 because, again, jury. But I found out, because I decided to buy the physical copy. I'm like, you know, I want to have this actual disc. I don't buy disc-based games very much for my Xbox, but generally from each generation, you know, Xbox One and now Series, there's a few that I do get. So I buy Street Fighter 6 physical copy. I'm all excited to play it, right? Well, it turns out literally 2/3 of the content to play the game has to be downloaded. It has the like online hub is basically on the disc, along with like obviously the assets and stuff. But to actually play like regular mode, like if you just want to play arcade or whatever the little story mode is, and basic multiplayer, that's 1/3 of the game that has to be downloaded separately. And then the world tour mode, which is like the single player kind of open world part that I wanted to play, that's 1/3 of the game that has to be downloaded separately. So you buy a disc thinking, well, cool, if anything ever happens, if I'm offline, if the internet's out, whatever, I just pop the disc in and I can still play the game. But then you put the disc in and you have to download 2/3 of the game. And then I do console, whatever you call it, account share, console sharing or whatever. So my brother has a Xbox One X that I have set as my home console. And then the Series X that I play, I just sign into my account to access my stuff and play it. The problem is that means if the internet's ever out, which occasionally happens here, I basically can't play anything that's not on a disc, because this is not my home console, so it doesn't allow me to play that stuff. So I actually one day did have the internet go out. I put Street Fighter 6 in thinking, oh, well, I mean, I could still play this at least. No, because even though I have the disc in, it would not let me access the other 2/3 of the game, the basic arcade and story modes and stuff, and the world tour. I couldn't even play single player content off the disc without internet, because that stuff was downloaded content. It would say I didn't have access to it. So I was quite disappointed in that. I honestly was like, I really wish I'd have just bought digital at that point, because having the disc does nothing for me. Which Star Wars are you talking about? The cool looking open world one? Or are you talking about Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order, or whatever it is? Wait, Jedi Fallen Order. Survivor? Jedi Survivor. The new one. Yeah, because that game looks really cool, but yeah, and going back to what Matt said about Bungie, trying to avoid over-delivery. Like, yeah, that's a reputation you want to avoid. We want to avoid over-delivering. But honestly, Cosmic, it's probably on purpose, because they don't really want us buying the physical copies of the game anymore. Because if we all buy digitally, first of all, they make more money off of digital, which, you know, I don't begrudge anybody making their money, but they make more money selling digital than they do physical, because they don't have to do any kind of share with the distributor or the seller. And then there's more control over it because of the digital account. So there's a lot of reasons why they may still offer a physical copy, but make you feel like it's not worth it. Like I feel like now about Street Fighter 6. I feel like it wasn't worth buying the physical copy because it doesn't do anything for me. Get the Red Dead bundle cheaper. Like they didn't upgrade the visuals or performance or anything. Tell you what, this may be my new favorite soundtrack here. $50. So if you're doing like from the ground up reconstruction of a game and a new engine and stuff, I can understand charging $50, $60 like they did with the Dead Space remake. That is like the one that like a fantastic example of a very well done remake that's worth buying as a full price new game. But I feel like in a lot of cases, especially if they're not like if it's not being put into a new engine, if new assets aren't being made, yeah, they should get a lot of backlash for it, especially for something like Red Dead. There's like an expectation of quality from Red Dead Redemption. But if you're not going to do that kind of work and you're basically just recycling the old assets and old graphics and stuff, then why would you charge that much for it and re-release it? Just put out the old game on a new, make it accessible again or something. Unfortunately, because I'm actually a huge fan of backlash as a consumer. I feel like we vote with our wallets, but I feel like there's just too many times where people are not willing to do that, and that's why these companies get away with doing this stuff. Boo da boo da boo da boo. What's up, Agent Tomcat? I have a wrench here. GTA 6. Oh, that's so true though. Yeah, like they'll just, as long as GTA 6 looks good enough, then whatever they're doing right now with Red Dead will be forgotten. Pretty much. But with right, when all the game devs are doing the same thing, there's not really anywhere to go. I mean, there is, like, there's bright spots here and there, but not everybody wants to play those games or play that genre game or style. Unfortunately, the bright spots are kind of fewer and far between, and they're definitely there. But when you're talking about an industry that's become multi-billions of dollars, it's not niche like it once was, and they have to try and appeal to a lot of people, or gaslight the whole freaking audience into buying their crap. I can already see some of the titles for these videos I'm gonna very much relate to. Like, for instance, I think indie games can be a pretty good spotlight. I mean, spotlight. A pretty, I would hope so, but Nintendo's kind of notoriously bad at that. Like the last time that they, I mean, well, okay, I take that back. The DS families, they did a really good job with backwards compatibility. Well, don't you have phones? Possibly the greatest moment in just like just showcasing the oh my god, I had the word for a moment there. Hubris, that's the word. But yeah, I would hope Nintendo's smart enough now that they've moved to a cartridge-based handheld system again, that they're smart enough to have that backwards compatibility. It'd be so easy to have a stupid little emulator run inside whatever comes next. Yeah, it feels like they like kind of skip each generation lately. Obviously, the 90s were different, but like you went GameCube to Wii. The Wii was backwards compatible, and then to the Wii U. And I think the Wii U was backwards compatible to the Wii, but not the GameCube. And then we completely disconnected and went to the Switch. But what I'll say there, the Switch feels more like a successor to the handheld, like the DS line, than it does the Wii line, the Wii U. So I think it would be super easy to just have a little, Switch cartridge slot on whatever they do next. And the goodwill, that's the other thing too. The smallest little things they can do to garner goodwill with the market, the people who buy this stuff, and have people just go, "Yep, I'll buy one." Well, and the Wii essentially was a GameCube. Just it was a slightly higher performance. So it's actually kind of nice because GameCubes are harder to find. And actually, the GameCube is probably still my favorite Nintendo console. But GameCube are hard to find, but there was like 100 million Wii that were sold. So it's actually fairly easy to find a Wii and not for like crazy prices. And then you can use it to play your GameCube collection. What? Joke. Yeah, I remember the early days before and it was before anybody knew that there was going to be any kind of motion control crap either. It was just the next Nintendo was the Nintendo Revolution. But yeah, if they're smart, they'll make the next Switch or whatever they call their next handheld console backwards compatible with Switch. And then I feel like that will give them a much bigger rush right away for people to upgrade and buy the next console, because they'll be confident in knowing their whole collection that they've paid for this generation. Well, they'll still be able to play it all, and as long as they have like a way to migrate save data. That was the great thing with the DS families, was you could basically do that all the way up to the last DS system. You could still play DS games from the beginning, and that family lasted almost 15 years or something like that. 16 years. Speaking of the Nintendo Revolution, that reminds me, so to bring up Xbox, I'm still waiting for the day that an Xbox system is called Next, because that was a rumored name, and I think it's kind of stuck around in like Xbox fan circles since like 2005. That was an original rumored name for the Xbox 360, and then ever since then it's been like a fan wanted name for an Xbox console, just the Xbox Next. Not only like, and the branding would be super easy, like really cool. There would be all kinds of cool ways you can combine the X in Xbox and the word Next together into a logo. Zaboomafoo 2 Electric Boogaloo. You just wanted me to say that. I am very glad, though, I was able to get my hands on a 3DS just before they shut down the store so that I could go download everything I owned, bought a couple additional things, and got access to Pokemon Bank. So now I can go play my old school, either Pokemon Soul Silver, or Blue, or Yellow, or Crystal, or Alpha Sapphire. Alpha Sapphire is still one of the greatest Pokemon games ever made. And be able to transfer those Pokemon forward to Pokemon Home. Oh, great. I never even heard of that until now. Next box. Well, I actually pictured you could have the word Xbox be horizontal. Well, there's different ways you could do it, but you could have the word Xbox be horizontal, and then you could have the word Next. Like they would share the same one of the X's, like the last X in the word Xbox could be the same X that's in Next, and then that word could go like vertical or various other. I just felt like there was a lot of cool stuff they could do with it and stylize it. I had, for DS, I had the original one. I had the Electric Blue. I wish I had kept that. Such a nice console. But I had the Electric Blue DS. Next box. What the? But I had an Electric Blue DS, and there was a Metroid game for it. And I actually played it online. It was actually pretty cool. I think it was like Mercenaries or something like that. I can't remember. But it had an online multiplayer, and it was actually pretty fun. Because you would move with the D-pad, but you use the stylus to like aim on the screen. It was actually pretty neat. But then the DS Lite came out shortly after that. I got one of those, of course. And then I think it was the following, like 6 months later, or like a following year, whatever it was, the black DS Lite came out. So of course I traded it, and the one I had got one of those. Well, I don't have a limit on the chat, I don't think. But yeah, so I always regret the 2000s. Well, I don't want to say that. I love the 2000s. But I regret some of the choices I made in gaming. Because there was a lot of stuff that I like traded in that I wish I still had. Like I never did that. In middle school, one of my teachers had poor enunciation, so instead of asking what happens next during a verbal quiz, she asked what happens next. Or next. I can't even. X1. But yeah, then later, like say 2017, I think it was, I got a 2DS, like the regular cheap one. Bought the games I have on the store and played the crap out of it, and then sold it, and then didn't have any of that for several years now, like 5 years now, until just before they shut down the store. And that was when I got, a friend of mine had a really nice purple 3DS, which was perfect because that's my favorite color. But I managed to get that from him like 3 days before they shut the store down, and got my account migrated over, and got my account migrated. Wait, what? Oh my god, it's trying to moderate you, Matt. Another moderator just handled this? What? That's funny. YouTube's like, no, you're not allowed. It popped up and asked me if I wanted to show or hide Matt's message. And then as I went to hit the button, it said another moderator has handled this. I think Cosmic Traveler's here too, so he might have done it. Yeah, I've never owned a play. Well, no, I take that back. I owned a PS1, like the slim one, for like a month. But outside of that, I've always been a big Sega and Xbox fan. So the 360 was like one of the best eras ever. That was like my dawn, my awakening for online multiplayer. Probably 1,000 hours into Gears of War. And then Halo 3 came out. That was huge. This is fantastic music. Supposedly these are all copyright free. We'll find out. my stream from the other day where I was watching food, which was really fun actually. That was way cooler than I thought it was going to be. Where we were watching food videos, and then finished off the stream watching Daily Dose of Internet stuff, which was actually pretty cool. But apparently in one of those videos somewhere, there was some clip that actually Fox News claimed. And it claimed it in such a way that it said the stream was partially blocked. And then you went and look at the list of where it was partially blocked, and it was basically the whole world except for the United States. I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah, and see, that's what they used to do back in the day. They used to legitimately just put the guts of an old console into the new one. I mean, granted, well, I take that back. So, like, the 360 did pretty good on backwards compatibility, but that was doing emulation. The PS3, if I remember right, the original fat PS3 did the entire chipset of the PS2 in it. And then later versions of the PS3 weren't natively backwards compatible. Yeah, see, I didn't really have like game nights where I didn't really have friends. I'm just kidding. But like the great thing with the Xbox 360 for me was like right off the bat, I think I had Project Gotham Racing 3 was my first game. And I would spend like 8 hours a day in racing lobbies on that game. absolutely loved it. I was obsessed, but it was also my first time like having that kind of experience. And then of course later in the year, in 2006, was when Gears of War came out. And I actually worked at EB Games, aka GameStop at that time. Obviously, I'm an Xbox fan, so I will say I really do appreciate what they've done with like the Series X, which is 100% backwards compatible to the Xbox One, and the Xbox One was probably like 80% backwards compatible to Xbox 360, and then any original Xbox games that had been made backwards compatible to 360 are still backwards compatible to this day, and there has been more that have been added to it. So one of the big things I think Xbox has done really well, especially moving into the more digital generation, is just giving you access to like all the previous generations of that console for the most part. I just wish everybody would do that. That's why I really hope if Nintendo on their next console makes it like hardware backwards compatible, that's going to be massive, and I would be down for that too, because there's Switch games I would like to buy. I still own my copy of Pokemon Shining Pearl, even though I sold my Switch. I've actually, so I sent Agent Tomcat this the other day, but there's I'm gonna go look it up now. Haunting Ground? The one thing I feel like PS2 had that was like appealing to me was some of these survival horror games. A lot of them were like Resident Evil and Silent Hill and ended up being on Xbox or later Xbox consoles, 360 and such. But some of them, they're not even like playable now on PlayStation as far as I know. So, where's the trailer for this? But some of these games were really cool. I think this game I saw the trailer for the other day, and it's a PS2 game. And then there's one. It's referenced in a Bring Me the Horizon song. There's another one that looked really good. Oh, here we go. I think this is the right one. What's up, Epic Legend? We're just talking video games right now.
This isn't real.
Yeah, I see a lot of these things, and I'm like, this would be a reason for me to get a PS2 or a PS3 that's backwards compatible, because I would really like to play some of these games. Like, this looks really cool. The chick is hot.
Go, Huey.
And The art style in some of these older games like this is actually in a lot of ways better than modern games. Okay, so it says Demento, but it's Haunting Ground in English. This is like the Japanese title. Yeah, it's got the look of a Resident Evil, but obviously there's like it doesn't look like you have weapons or any of that. So it looks like a lot of like trying to escape and hide, and then solving puzzles, which that's cool. Oh, what Eve? Parasite Eve. That's the one. I think that's the other one. There's a Bring Me the Horizon song. I think it's called. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. I searched it, but yeah. So I didn't actually know that these were related. So there's this. I love Bring Me the Horizon as a band, so I already like the song. But there's a game called Parasite Eve, and if I remember right, the original is a PS1 game. And then they did a game for there's a couple games after that, I think, that were made for PSP. And so those are like the type of thing that I would get into, because my original Xbox, I have got a lot of games for that, and there is some survival horror games for that. But the PlayStation 1, and even to a lesser extent the PS2, they came out before the original Xbox. So some of these games, especially on the PS1 in the early days of survival horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, were only coming out on the PS1. Well, some of them were also coming out on Dreamcast, just to a lesser extent. But then, let me see, this Parasite Eve game. It looks really cool. And what I like, these games that have kind of an isometric or a fixed camera position. I feel like that's actually kind of fun. Parasite Eve, PS. What? I was really just looking for like a trailer. Oh, here we go. 1998. But something about the style of those games, when you have like the isometric perspective or the fixed cameras, and you're not moving around everything in 3 dimensions, there was something really cool with the type of art style they did with that. A lot of objects would seem to have like the environments, like obviously the graphic, the technology wasn't as good as it is today, but I feel like sometimes that made them be more creative. And with what they had, they would actually make some really detailed environments that just had like a really cool aesthetic to them that I like, and you don't really see in modern games. Yeah, like Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, like those games, the way that the perspective they had. Oh, I have Indigo Prophecy, I think, for original Xbox. Yeah, but the fixed angles and all that, like, I feel like it really worked for this genre of games back in the day. I'm going to bump this up a little bit for resolution just so it looks good. Like, I would love to play this game right here. And then the sequels that are on PSP. after this, I'll actually show you guys the first game that exposed me to this style of game. Like, it's got some really cool monsters and stuff. It's very, very Resident Evil-like, but obviously like a whole different story and world, and I just really like the character. Yeah, I think they'd be good for Switch, for sure. Yeah, and they could easily, cloud, they could easily take games like this and put them in a cloud and make them available on anything. No, I don't, I'm not really, I have a computer for computer stuff. Gaming to me belongs on consoles, so Steam Deck is not really, to me it's a really, really, really overpriced handheld. But yeah, like if you could take, I think that the cloud would give access to a lot of the stuff, talking about like preservation. Obviously it'd be nice to have some way to buy it and own it, but at the very least, you know, these companies, if they still own the original files, if they still own the original games somewhere, put it up into the cloud where you could access and play it like anywhere. Like imagine you could play these games in a PC browser or on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Switch, wherever. Okay, so that's Parasite Eve. They did a newer one. I don't know what it was called. The Third Birthday, maybe. And so this is the one I saw that I was like, oh, I want to play that game because the chick is like really hot in this one. And the graphics and all that are obviously better. But I just really like, Clouds can't play. Oh my god. I just really like this whole genre of games, like the fixed perspective.
The government created a special
stuff, like the
organization to destroy these creatures. The CTI, the Counter-Twisted Investigation Team, by way of the Overdive system, which allows the changing of the past in order to better the present. The only candidate who was deemed compatible with the system was one who had lost all of her memories. Her name.
It is. I mean, because like I said, I would probably, if I had the means to get one, I would probably get a PSP to play just this game. Yeah, a remake of this would be great. Of course, this changed from the old style we're talking about to basically like a third
One
person
mistake
shooter,
and it's all over.
I know I can do this.
Check it out. I feel like I should retitle this game. Check it out.
Remember where it all started. My dreams. My memories.
Oh crap. I'm probably gonna get copyright claimed by Disney.
You don't need a past.
But yeah, so I don't know if any of you know the band Bring Me the Horizon. They're a really awesome, like, current metal band. And they put out a song like 3 years ago called Parasite Eve. For some reason, I did not draw the lines between them, but apparently they were big fans of this series back in the day. This is literally about this game.
I'm Special Agent Aya Brea, and my final mission is about to begin.
So I'm trying to remember. I feel like I can't remember if there was one before this or if this was the second game. Because you would think the Third Birthday. That sounds like a third game. But I think that they were supposed to be working on something more and then it never came about or something like that. What on earth? Are you being serious, Tomcat? but with multiplayer. All right, see ya, Epic Legend. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so now that you've seen these games, like I'm like, okay, these games are cool. You know, um, this kind of got me interested. You know, well, this was as a result of my interest being piqued by this game right here, Jurassic Park 3 Island Attack. Back in like 2002 or something, I played this game on Game Boy Advance. And obviously, it's a much lighter form, but it's basically that same kind of game. It's a third person, or not third person, it's a like a survival game, or in the style of these survival horror games, I guess. But it's in that kind of isometric, setting. And I remember just falling in love with the way that the levels were designed and the way the gameplay was set up. And just need like a little gameplay peek here somewhere. It wasn't anything crazy great or anything like that. It was fun. It was not. It was a Game Boy Advance game, but they made it really cool. And honestly, this is better than the actual movie of Jurassic Park 3. So okay, so you're about to crash. Okay, give it just a moment. If I remember right, like the plane goes down, and that's where you play a completely alternate story to what happens in Jurassic Park 3. And I remember beating this game and going, like, why wasn't this Jurassic Park 3? Because this was so much better. I haven't played any Jurassic Park games. Well, no, I take that back. I played the Jurassic World Park Builder games. Those aren't too bad, but they're not really what like everybody dreams of for a Jurassic Park game. That was better than the actual movie of That's true. Jurassic Park 3 could literally just be like could have never have happened and we'd all be fine. As a Jurassic Park fan, this is. But this game, like I said, this is like an alternate storyline where you're just your Dr. Grant, you crash on the island, and of course it's explaining it all right here, but you have like you don't ever have like an offensive weapon like a gun per se. You have like a flare gun and a walkie-talkie. But look at this. You'll have the raptors come out and chase you, and you gotta like run away from them. That's kind of cool. There will be like, well, there's the Spinosaurus. And you can fire the flare gun at the raptors and stuff to kind of ward them off, or you can fire it at like explosive barrels and stuff like that to like kill them. But yeah, look at the animations on these things. Yeah, of course they look like JPEGs pasted into the screen, but the little animations for a Game Boy Advance game, it's pretty cool in my opinion. But this right here was like my introduction to this whole style of game. And as you go, like there's like little puzzles you solve, and some of the like the island bases are really cool actually. Let's see if I can move forward a couple scenes. But yeah, something about this right here. This is, like I said, this is a Game Boy Advance game from like, I don't remember when it was, 2002 or so. It was shortly after the game came out, right? Or the movie. And to me, when I look at this stuff, this is very well put together, like design with really cool detail on a lot of the elements here. And I feel like a lot of games, because it's so much easier these days with the power of the game engines and the hardware and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of detail. It gets like there's not as much work put into the detail things. Like this stupid little pipe over here has these random textures that when you're not when it's part of the whole, it makes everything just look more real. Right, yeah, I agree. A Jurassic Park game should essentially feel like Dead Space with dinosaurs and yeah, exactly. I've always thought that if they had them do a Jurassic Park game, that'd be really good. Oh wait, I take that back. You did have a weapon. It just was not super effective. Poor Dr. Grant. Look at him getting attacked by this raptor. But like, it's not too bad. It's pretty cool. And honestly, there's a lot of times where simple games like this can be more impressive to me than what we see in Mario games. Oh no, Dr. Grant died. Like, this raptor is kind of downed, but he's not quite, like, dead. So he may get back up. Yeah. I wanted to find... A wild weapon appears. It uses shoot. It's not super effective. This right here, again... The design of these are reused assets, pasted in and everything, but the way that these assets were made back in the day, there's just so much attention to detail in it. Turok I've never played, but I definitely would like to. Oh, I remember this. It gets all silent, and you're like, what's going on? What's about to happen here? Like the music stopped and everything. Uh-oh. And there it is. Yeah, bro, like, when you play through this whole game, because later in the game, like, we're obviously not going to sit here and watch the game, but later in the game, you will get to, like, the harbor bases or something like that, and you're trying to get off the island on a boat, I think? Like, you're trying to get, they're trying to get to you, and you got to contact them there. But the environments they create are, like, really cool. And the whole adventure of it, it might be, like, an hour-long game in total. But I'm sorry. Like, I feel like the story and adventure you have in that little Jurassic Park game is better than the actual movie of Jurassic Park 3. But this game was my first experience with that style of gameplay, and it led me to liking things like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and then... now I would love to go back and play stuff like Parasite Eve or that other game, The Haunting Grounds. Alan. You know what's funny is I had gone and I had changed the stream title to like #serverlife because I was going to look at like videos about serving. And then we ended up on this whole video game thing, which is great. And yeah, I know the Turok games are available. They're not super expensive, and sometimes they go for sale on the Xbox store. So one of these days I might have to get them. Oh, Dino Crisis. The Dino Crisis games. I have Dino Crisis 3 for original Xbox. And I played it a long time ago, and I didn't really understand, because I hadn't gotten into these games yet. I didn't really understand how to play it. So I didn't really get it. But now that I do know how they work, I definitely need to go back and do a playthrough of it, because it's very similar to Resident Evil with the tank-like controls and the fixed camera and all that. And Dino Crisis 3 has this chick, so this was always the reason. that I bought the game. It was also the only one that was on Xbox, so that was a thing. Came out in like 2003. Dino Crisis 3 Sonya. Okay. Yeah, I have this in my original Xbox. My slowly expanding original Xbox game collection. This is the cover right here. But this is one of the lower rated games in the series. I think people didn't like the setting, being on a spaceship, but to me, I'm like, that's why I like it. All right. Oh, yeah, I forget you're in a totally different time over there. Hey, what time is it there, Cosmic? I was wondering what time it was there. I can look it up, I'm sure. Past 3 p.m. Okay, so yeah, because it's 1:28 in the morning here for me. One of the reasons I like to do around midnight is it's obviously like I'm a night owl, but I know that 3/4 of the country is at least an hour behind me, and then there's other parts of the world that are, you know, like it's the middle of the afternoon for you, so it might be a good time for you. But anyways, good to see you, Cosmic. I'll have to catch you in the next one. Yeah, I definitely need to go check this game out and actually play it, because I've owned it for years. Just never took the time to play it. That's the story with a lot of my Xbox collection. But there's these other ones I wouldn't mind playing as well, but I believe they're only on like PS2, and I think that they were on Dreamcast as well. Am I right? But yeah, like Capcom, like with them doing these Resident Evil and Silent Hill remakes and stuff like that, it's probably about time they do Dino Crisis. Like, just remaster it or whatever. That would be great. Just remaster them and bring them forward to be playable. I think people would be happy with. But if you could do remaster, it'd be great. Chris H, how's it going, man? But anyways, like I said, we've been talking the gaming stuff. I did actually want to get into the server life stuff, because I know a bit about this. I know a bit about video games too. No. You don't get rid of the tank controls. You add an option, like the Resident Evil HD or whatever it was that was put out for Xbox One and PS4. You still had the option to play with tank controls. I like the tank controls. It's part of why I like those old games. It's part of the charm to them. But they also gave you the option to have modern controls. So, best of both worlds. Like I said, I think most people would just be happy even if they just made them playable on modern consoles. Burn them with fire. Problem is, like we were discussing earlier, so many of these games, there's just no way to access them unless they've already been put onto a digital service, or if you own a retro console and manage to own the game, which these days is getting more and more expensive on both of those. Years ago, when I bought my Game Boys, I have a Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and I paid $15 for each of those. And they're in great condition, working order, they're not all scuffed up or anything like that. Nowadays, you find that stuff and you could be paying $60, $70, $80, $100 depending, you know. My original Xbox that I have, which is the see-through, like the translucent green one, that was the Halo edition, I think I paid like $30 for it back like 10 years ago. And it's way more than that now. So it's becoming way more expensive if you want to play retro games, and it's harder and harder to find them too. So one of the, oh my goodness, I want to see what. But yeah, so a lot of this tank control hedgehog racing sounds like the new Getting Over It With. What the heck? Tank control hedgehog racing. So was it like the screen just like went bad, or was it or was it like the startup when it's not reading a game cartridge correctly? Because sometimes, you know, the screen will glitch out if it's not reading the cartridge right, but if you get it to work and it reads, it should be fine. What the Dark Souls of Hedgehog racing games? Basically. It's all bullshit. Yeah, you're the man in the large pot with it's like a hammer or something like that. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, especially which Game Boy was it? Was it like an original Game Boy or a color? But like, the older it is, you know, the more chance it's going to end up failing. There's people out there who can like put a replacement screen in, but sometimes that's more expensive than just finding another one. I just love that. Is Getting Over It the game where you're a man in a large pot with a stick? Yeah, and if you're not the original owner of the Game Boy, then you don't know what abuse somebody else put through it first. Put it through, not put through it. I don't know about that, Tomcat. No, but it's nice to say, right, assuming that we're all going to be in a large pot with a sledge and it hasn't happened to you. I suppose you could look forward to it. Kind of odd, but Okay. Shadow the Hedgehog. So, I'm gonna pick one of these. Something that I both can give perspective with my personal experience and be able to, for people that don't really get it, kind of explain it. But I feel like I haven't seen any of these, so they may do a good job of that. Like I keep seeing this one. I told you not to triple seat me. That one makes sense. Oh my god. The whole next box thing. Next boxed. Can't even say that correctly. Yeah, Chris, I've actually as I say, I own some of them, but I want something that's like more playable, like on a daily basis. So, and I get to this point where I get paranoid about actually using my old gaming technology because I want to preserve it at the same time. So yeah, I've been considering at some point down the road getting one of those pre-modded Game Boy Colors where it's got like a really nice LCD screen in it and it's backlit and all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit of an expense, but it might be worth it eventually. Just to have that to play, you know, on a regular basis and not wear out the old ones. All right, so we'll find something here. Bitching and bullshitting after work. That's funny. Opening side work. They're never gonna. Oh my goodness. All right, let's start here. Worst table ever. Let's see if this is like relatable in some way. I hear that. Being broke is not fun. I guess I should put my earbuds in so I can actually hear it. Probably going to be ads. Oh, no, here we go. I don't know how loud this is.
Great. You just had to take the merchant copy! Are you happy?
Okay, cool. They bleep the... You're so bad. Okay. I gotta see how the volume is. Okay, so I think the volume's gonna be good. Some of these videos are like changing. My penance for saying next boxed again is I have to beat getting over it while seeing a tub full of pink slime. What? And watching Jurassic Park 3. I don't even know what's going on here. All right, so let's start this over. Server life, worst table ever, and I can already relate to this, so.
Great. You just had to take the merchant copy! Are you happy?
The one with the tip on it.
You're so bad. You are bad.
I'm not. You're bad. There's no. I thought it was all her. I swear to. She started it all.
Is there anything else I can get for you all?
You're good. Okay.
Anything at all?
Oh my god.
All right. Come on. All right. Get out the plastic.
Time to pay the piper.
Oh my god, people can be so cringy. Because this is all so real.
What else would I do with it, right? Yeah.
Wait! You know what you could do? You could go and get us another fresh pot of hot, steaming coffee.
It does.
Wait! No. You know, on second thought, another. I had a brilliant idea. Don't. Don't. Let's wait. Maybe we'll get some later. We will get some just later. So you can just queue it up, and we'll just be here, and we'll let you know.
No, we want you to go. He's trying to get you.
He's the one.
You cut yet? You want to get out of here?
You cut yet? Oh my goodness.
That way they won't even know I'm cut.
Half of servers are degenerates too, so.
Thank God. I thought it was never gonna end.
Some of us it doesn't. Just keeps on going. Like a wheel of death.
Oh my
Well,
god.
since they're paying, you could probably leave, right?
No. Because now I gotta wait for these losers to sign the check.
Yep.
Who knows how effing long that's gonna take.
Oh my god. So he's looking at the so there you probably know if you've ever eaten out at a restaurant that you get these for some reason you get two slips. One is the merchant copy and one is the customer copy. The merchant copy is the one that we want you to sign and leave us with the tip amount on it. And the customer copy is the one you take home. However, there is occasionally this issue where people will take the merchant copy. True. The penance for being a degenerate server is dealing with dumb customers. That is the pinned message now. That is perfect. Yeah, the laugh. Oh my god. But yeah, so it's one of those things where you do all that work, you take care of that table, you finally get them out of there, and they don't leave the merchant copy, so you don't get anything for that. But what he's looking at the end here is he's hoping that he can tell from the the customer copy, like if there was an imprint from them signing it. This is why I sign and fill out the tip on both. Yeah. So he's like, can I still get anything out of this somehow? That was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one. And I like this whole what is it he says? For some of us it never ends.
Just keeps on going. Like a wheel of death.
Like a wheel of death.
Well, since they're paying, you could.
That's so perfect. Okay, so I might actually like this channel. I was kind of worried. I run deliveries all night for money, then spend it on space games so I can deliver space trash the rest of the night. Yeah, sounds like being a space trucker. Shit, servers say. Okay, let's see what this says.
I do not want to work tonight. I don't even know why I picked up, but I really need to make money.
Sorry. I'm here. I was at the dentist.
You guy, I work for $2 an hour and I take home $0 paychecks.
And don't forget, we have to pay for credit card charges and we have to tip everybody out.
5% tip out is too much.
Nobody does their job anymore.
I'm not gonna make tonight.
I hate it when it's slow. And our busser, it's like he doesn't even bus.
And I do silverware after close.
So how long have you worked here?
Too long.
That's exactly. I knew. It's so true though. And all the dishes gathered. It's so true. Too long. He's been there like 2 weeks.
Out of my section.
Jimmy's a no-call, no-show.
Yeah, well, I need my food. I'm hiding from my table. It's been half an hour.
These people.
I've been hiding from my yeah. There does come this point if you've ever been waiting for your food, your server is usually not responsible, like 75% of the time. If you're ever waiting, the tipping is for noobs. Hardcore people lecture the server on why they should get paid more. Oh my god, so true. And no, we don't want that. But the probably about 75% of the time, if your food is taking a long time and is late, it's not your server. It's the kitchen. It's something going on back there. Something got messed up. Yeah. Whatever amount of time it is, if you're like, God, why is this taking forever? And your server is supposed to continue to check back with you. And we do have these things that we this little process where, okay, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna do a refill, I'm gonna make sure they're all good, and then what we're hoping is that we're distracting you from how long it takes. Because every time we go back there and we're like, oh my God, there's like 8 tickets in front of mine. Like, is any of this stuff getting made? Like, are there cooks? What's going on? So, but eventually you keep going and checking. You're like, oh my God, the food's not up. I don't know what to do. It's been 30 minutes or whatever, whatever amount of time. And you start to you're not panicking because obviously you've experienced it before and you know what to do. But you also know that time is different for you than it is for the guest. And for a guest, when it's been 10 or 15 minutes, the guest thinks it's been an hour. Like, there's been so many times where I've had guests that think it's been like, I've been here for an hour and a half. And you're like, you can literally go look at the time that they were sat on the board or go into your system and see the time that the order was sent. And you're like, it's been 22 minutes. What are you talking about? So yeah, it's a different, like, time passes differently for you. And so you're over there panicking, trying to make sure you get stuff out to your tables. And eventually, like, the guy was like, I've been avoiding my table for half an hour. It's so true. There will be times where you just are like, I can't go back out there without food. Like, I just can't go face these people again without their food because they're going to be pissed.
My food. I'm hiding from my table. It's been half an hour.
These people.
Hey, you gotta wine.
Yeah, fuck these people.
For 8 years. Am I gonna get fired?
I hate this place. I hate this place.
That's like 12%. I mean, how does this math even make sense?
I need a drink, and I need a cigarette. I want them to have a car accident on the way home, and they all die. Except for the tipper. I want him to live, but I want both his legs to be amputated.
You know everybody.
Except for oh my God.
Off. This place sucks. I can't stand people.
Who's cut?
I don't know. No one. But I want to be cut.
Somebody's cut? Dibs.
I wanna.
I'm calling dibs.
No.
Calling dibs.
I wanna get a whole ass.
You're not. Apron is gone. Apron is gone.
There's that too. So cutting, everything is fluid, right? So you could have 5 servers or 10 servers or whatever it is, depending on the restaurant you work at. You could have like 5 servers working and, it's not busy enough to keep all these people. So, we can't pay for this many people to be working. We're not making that much money. So you cut people and you basically, hey, so-and-so's cut, so-and-so's cut. And that means they're done. They're out. The other people take over and run the rest. And it's funny because it's like the girl at the beginning where she's talking about how I don't even know why I picked up tonight, but I need to make money. And like you both want to be there to make money and you don't want to be there because like it sucks. So you'll show up, you're like, oh, I want to make money, let's do this, and you start making your money, right? And then at the same time, you also want to go like as soon as possible.
Work for me tomorrow?
Do you want to work for me tomorrow? Yeah. From a French fry? You learned this from a French fry? Okay, let's see this one. Win your manager. Did they still use glass ketchup bottles when you were? Getting sent home early was what I imagined doing heroin was like. Well, yeah, labor's too high. Yeah, it would be the same thing. Basically, labor's too high. We don't have enough business coming in, so you got to send people home. What's up, Chris?
Hey, loser, have you seen Pepe?
Oh yeah, I sent him home. He had kind of a long night tonight, you know.
It's been a long night for everyone, you piece of and I need to talk to him about the schedule.
Okay, well, you can talk to me.
I don't want to talk to you.
I'm in charge. You don't really have a choice.
Look, I requested off for
You
this
don't really
weekend
have a
months
choice.
ago, so I want to make sure you don't up the schedule.
Well, the thing is,
Even if you want
we're doing
money, getting
set
chosen.
schedules now, so
Even if you want money, getting chosen to go home is basically drugs. This is so true. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. Did he mean French guy, or was he saying French fry, like as a slang term for a French guy? Could be French guy. French fry almost works. Yeah.
if you want to get your shift covered, that is 100% your problem. You feel me, bro?
No, bro, I don't feel you. Okay, I don't have time to deal with your unnecessary. We don't do set schedules around here. That's not how we do things. Okay, so you're gonna give me the time off that I need. Okay? Don't cause any problems, because I will kill you, you piece of shit. You me, I will you, and not the way you want, because I know you want to me, you loser.
Getting your actual time off is your responsibility. So, I don't know, get your figured out, Leo.
This is
Don't
like
make me fire you. Yeah, that's
legitimately.
Right. I can do that because you know why? Pepe likes me more than you. He just gave you this position because he feels bad for you. Because why? You have a small peepee. Okay?
So this is all 100% accurate, but exaggerated. Like, nobody's actually allowed to talk to each other like that, like a very limited basis. But that's like the passive aggressive. Like, if you took the passive aggressive aspect of dealing with management and other people, and you put it all out in the open, that would be it. That would actually be pretty accurate, actually. Oh, this is the one I want to see. Did you even read the menu? Literally have this problem all the time. I will never understand. There, especially where I work now, but in most places, your menu is actually pretty descriptive because they want to give you as much information as possible. So you have to ask as few questions as possible of the server. But you will have people who will sit there and be like, "Oh, what's on your chicken sandwich?" And it's like, well, dude, it literally just says chicken, bacon, cheese. It says it right there, right in front of you. Yeah, managers of chain restaurants and fast food places, weird god complex. This is true, partially because they were once one of the regular people, and they got an opportunity to have some sort of power. So. French fries, French dress. What the? I don't know. I don't know what movie that is. None of these seem to have any ads in front of them, which is fine with me. But I'm wondering, like, are they not monetized? Oh, they've only got 1.21 subs. What the heck? They were at this for a little while, because the oldest ones I'm seeing are like 6 years ago, all the way up to 2 years. So about 4 years it seems like. But they weren't getting many views. It is kind of a niche thing, I suppose. French bread. And we have been found wanting. Better Off Dead. Sounds familiar, but I can't claim to know that I've seen it.
Hey, Dean.
Yeah.
I need a blue bonnet. What the f*** is that? It's the special. Did you even read the menu?
Alright, slow down there, Ladybird Johnson. Okay. Yeah, I can pull that off. Go ahead, ring it up.
There's no button, that's why I'm calling for it.
Okay, so press open liquor, and then $12. Genius.
Oh my god.
Thank you for calling Smokehouse, Roman.
Going home already, huh?
That's very true there too. The bartender, which is who he's talking to right there. Bartender a lot of times has so many other things going on, because I've. Did we hide or show that one? Because there's nothing wrong with that. But bartenders, they have so much else going on that, yeah, they may not know what the special is. But or a specific drink that some guest wants that isn't on our menu, but you can ask them like, well, can you make this? And then you're sitting there like, okay, but how do you want me to ring it in? That's always the thing. How do you want me to ring it in? Because the bartender like will basically know what something should cost. There's a message. It says it was held for review. I'm hitting show, but it says another moderator handled it. So
Yeah. This place sucks.
What'll it be? I'm not really drinking tonight. Sangria.
Where's my drink, Dean?
I put it right here.
I put it right.
It's not here. It's not on my table. So,
Guess he'll have to ring it up again.
seriously? Like anybody gives an F.
You don't like it? You can go work at Black Sheep Lodge.
Here's your bluebonnet, sir. I'm so sorry for the wait.
I thought I ordered the margarita.
Oh, you said the drink special.
I thought the drink special was a margarita.
Oh my god.
That's Tuesday's drink special.
Oh my god.
I must have read the menu wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. You. Oh my god, that's exactly how you want to react. Yeah, I'm certain. Like, just be a little more aware what you're doing, because it's such a common problem where people just don't know what they actually ordered. And I love when somebody tries to tell you, oh no, I wanted this, and you're like, look, my job is listening to people like you. Yeah, or someone will ask for something you've never heard of and get mad at you. Yeah, I love that too. Like the place I work, you have a lot of these like older people that have money, and so they have all these like random drinks that are not typical menu drinks, and they'll want those. And so you got to go, oh, okay, and then write it down, and then go to the bartender and be like, hey, do you know what this is? And they're like, yeah, I think so, blah, 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 blah. And then you'll end up Googling it basically to figure out how to make this drink, and then you got to figure out how to ring it in and all that. It's always fun. But I always love, like, you have a guest that they'll order something, and you repeat it back to them. They'll say, oh, I want the chicken sandwich. I want it with bacon, no cheese, blah, 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 blah. And you'll repeat it back to them. You write it down, and you repeat it back. You order it. It comes out exactly how you wrote it down, put it in the computer, all that stuff. And then the guest goes, I didn't want bacon. And you're like, bro, there's like 3 different steps of verification that happen here. You wanted bacon on this burger. According to what you said to me, according to me repeating it back to you, and according to putting it in accurately. So you didn't know what you ordered. You know, my job is to do this every day, all the time. And then you said something wrong, not realizing you said it wrong. Accept that. We'll still fix it for you. We'll still get it to you the way you want it. But please just accept that you didn't know what you ordered. You didn't know you did it, how you did it. Old, rich, drunk World War II veterans are the best. Yeah, I think we've had a few of those that will come in. We get a lot of just like the people with money who are out for like a real good time, because we have like a trivia night, we have a karaoke night, stuff like that. So yes, we haven't had that as long as I've worked here, but when you ask how long they've worked there, it's a couple weeks. That can happen too. But there's also the flip side of that as well, where you've been there for years, or even if it's been 6 months, you know. But like you may have been there for years, and you'll have a guest that'll come in, and they'll say, "Oh, I want this," and you're like, "What in the hell? What are you talking about? That doesn't exist. As far as I know, it never existed." And then it come to find out, like I think I had this happen once at Olive Garden. The dish they were asking for was like 3 years before I had started serving there 5 years ago. You know, like it's been a while since you've been here, or you just didn't order that for a long time. That can definitely happen too.
I left my reading glasses here 2 weeks ago. I want to know if you still
2
have
weeks
them.
ago.
Don't you have a shady table somewhere or something?
We're gonna move over there.
Why is it so dead in here?
Yeah, it's Saturday night.
Would you take a picture of us?
Girls.
Oh, no, get a picture. Yes, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Look at the waitress.
Well, Matt, it's also not socially acceptable to ask your guest if they're an idiot, and that's a lot more common. Just saying.
I remember when we used to come here, we used to have to wait in line.
Yeah, at least 20 minutes.
The bar would be packed.
Totally bumping.
What's good here? What do you recommend? Okay, well, what's good here? What do you recommend?
Do y'all take expired coupons?
Do you have any specials? Anything gluten-free?
Do y'all take expired coupons? They're expired. Oh my god. That's too good.
What do y'all got for kids? Is your lemonade fresh squeezed?
No ice and a lemon.
Actually, can we get some lemon?
I don't strawberry lemonade.
Just get me a whole lemon and a very sharp knife.
Just water. I'm on a cleanse.
You have any of those craft cocktails? You know, something a little pre-prohibition?
Let's just have
Pre-prohibition.
Double fist me.
How does this work?
I must have read the menu wrong.
Hook me up. Can I have some bread?
There's actually I don't know what it's called, where it is. Maybe it's just a myth in service. I don't know. There's supposedly a restaurant somewhere where you can like backtalk people. So you could have like the server and guest basically talking crap to each other, like legitimately back and forth. And it's like, it's part of the experience. And that would actually, I would love to work there.
But I'm starving. Do you have bread?
It's her birthday, and I just wanted to mention it.
What ranch does your beef come from?
No, I'm ready.
That's, yeah, it's her birthday. I just want to mention it. They're expired for a reason, Sharon. Yeah, exactly. People always went, oh, it's their birthday. And you're like, okay, so what? Like they everywhere assumes that you're freaking Chili's or something like that, and you're gonna come out with like 8 people clapping and dancing and singing. Or Texas Roadhouse, I think, does a big thing like that. But not everywhere is like that. And do you really want that? Like, come on. What ranch does your beef come from? Yeah, extremely polite customer service is American mostly. Yeah, essentially the customer's always right. Like I said earlier, you could have a guest that clearly ordered something wrong. You repeat it back to them, you write it down, you've made sure, and then you go and you put it in the system, and then of course you double check. Like you'll put it all in, and then you'll go back and reread through it because you're like, I can't screw this person's stuff up. They're super specific. So you'll do all that. And it'll come out, and the expo checks it. They're the person that like pulls food from the window and then like gives it to you, and then you're reading the check and checking the food, and it's like it's all good. But then the guest is, they refuse to like accept that maybe they said something wrong, right? But the fact is, even if you are at fault as the guest, we're still going to fix it for you. Like we always do, right? We're going to lose whatever we lose on throwing out that food or whatever. It's not food that's sold, basically. Yeah, expo is short for expediter. And you're going to get the food how you want it. So just give us that. Don't argue. No, I want to eat it this way. Ma'am, but you can't. You can't argue with them at all. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's totally my fault. I'll go get it fixed for you. In fact, I'll make sure that the manager knows, whatever. It's always your fault somehow. unless you have a cool guest that does expositioner. What the heck? Exposer.
Can you come back to me?
I'm gonna have.
Oh yeah, the can you come back to me people. There's 3 people at a table, and the first person you ask, you're like, can you come back to me? And it's like 10 seconds. Like, did you need that? Really? Like, the other 2 people will have like the simplest, shortest order ever, and you're right back to them.
Salad, and I'm gonna make it myself.
Do you have any turkey bacon?
I'm gonna make it myself.
But if you get that, then I'm gonna have to get something else.
Mix that.
I don't get that. That's way more common than you think it is. Oh, if you get that, I'm gonna have to get something else. And it's I don't know if it's like an old couple thing, but it's super common. You'll see these old people, and the one person will decide they're getting some meal, and the other person will decide they can't get the same meal. Well, because if you're getting that, I have to get something else. Like, why don't you both get the same meal?
With some iceberg lettuce, but just the light colored leaves.
What are frites? Can you hold the honey and the honey mustard? That sounds really heavy. Tell the chef to use the big ones. I don't like eggs. I'll have the jalapeno ranch, but on the side. How big is it?
Oh no, you're kidding.
Yeah, that's like the whole reason we came here.
Oh, that would be great. I just don't think I could eat the entire thing.
Yeah. You still can. I'm not ordering the last one. Yeah, like we have more salmon. There's not one.
We saw the pictures on Yelp and it looks so good.
Can I make some substitutions?
And you can put her on my check?
How good is the vanilla?
You know, a dirty decaf
It's the vanilla.
latte would be fantastic.
A fresh pot of hot coffee.
I'll have coffee with honey.
Are these farm fresh eggs?
Is that bacon?
Oh my God, the children in the
I
background.
can't have bacon.
She can't have bacon.
Oh, are we ordering drinks? I'm gonna get her check.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are we ordering drinks? Yeah, that's literally the first thing you order everywhere you go is the drinks. I love going to the table and being like, hi, my name is Rival Indigo. I'll be your server today. You know, yada, yada, yada. We do have this as our special drink today, but, you know, can I get you started with anything? Blah, blah. And then you'll have, like, somebody at that table for some reason. You'll get this person's drink order, whatever. And then you get to this person, and they look up and like, oh, I want blah, 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 blah. And everybody just kind of looks at them, and you look at them and they go, oh, are we ordering drinks? Like, are you making that into a sandwich?
Actually, not her check.
No, take mine. Don't listen to him, please. Take mine.
We're gonna yelp.
We are going to Yelp. I don't give a damn. I love that. Just the and you're just standing there like, can I go now? Yeah. Like, why are you even ordering a, like, can I just order all of the ingredients for a burger, please? Oh, I gotta see this one. Triple seating. My favorite thing ever.
Do we have the
Oh, this
brunch?
one's quiet. Oh no, it's out. I'm like, why is this video so quiet? And my earbud fell on my ear.
What's in the brunch burger?
Do we have the brunch burger on burger night?
I don't know. Hey, Jeremy? What? Do we have the brunch burger on burger night? It's a burger. What do you think? I know we don't have the brunch menu on burger night, but do we have the brunch burger on burger night?
Come on, man. I have a table. Excuse me.
All right. Whatever. Can you check the bathrooms when you have a second?
An
Thank you.
IKEA burger.
Mama's meatloaf. Go.
Okay, there's meat.
I just triple sat you.
Romy, I told you not to triple C.
Hey, what the
Pepe called me in.
Yeah, why'd
I
you
just
come?
tripped at you. Hosts, man. Hosts are, hopefully they have a video somewhere on this channel. I'll have to find it later. But hosts are, there's a few here and there that I really like. But hosts in general are basically the lowest IQ people in the service industry. Can I get a cheeseburger, but like without any cheese on it. I'm lactose intolerant.
Natalia, gotta stop writing her papers.
Yeah, so hosts are like triple seating should pretty much not happen. Triple seating basically shouldn't happen. Almost never. The only time triple seating should actually occur is if you're that busy that somehow you have gone through your rotation and sat every other server and came back to the same server twice more after the first time. That's kind of ridiculous. There's some instances where certain restaurants have different types of seating. Like the restaurant I work at has indoors 3 different types of seating. There's the booths, there's the tables, there's high top tables. And then outdoors, there's high top and low top. So there is the potential that if you're in a certain section, every table that freaking walks in the door wants booths or whatever. So there's the chance there. But even then, your host should be smart enough to go, I just sat them back to back. I might need to hold off a minute. But they don't usually do that. I'm going to have to make it myself. It's not good because I don't trust you. Yeah. I mean, like, then why did you even come to a restaurant? Just you know, in the long run, it's cheaper to buy the crap yourself and you can make it exactly how you want. You come here because you want it made the way we make it for you and we serve it to you. So I can never be a server. I have way too little tact, and that's with people that I know and like. Yeah, you know what's crazy is because, like I said, I've been serving for 6 years. But that also includes time as a bartender and managing. And I have enough experience doing it that I've learned you just don't react to guests. Basically, everything is always your fault, and you just don't let them get a reaction out of you. If you smart back to somebody who's smarting off to you, it basically just kind of fuels the situation. If you continue to be like really like overly tactful, just making sure you're on top of stuff, and but in a sense you do it like genuinely. I'm going to make sure I stay on top of their stuff and get it done right from etc. You will either turn that guest around and they will feel stupid and feel like, wow, you actually did a great job for me, and they'll still pay you and they'll have a good experience, right? Or you'll literally just make them feel stupid. And that alone, because, wow, I'm treating this person like crap, and yet they're still being good back to me because that's their job. It can be embarrassing, especially if they have other people there with them. Yeah, Karens are literally trying to provoke a reaction. So when you don't give it to them, they don't win. You know, it's funny because, and I work with a lot of women in service, obviously, because the majority of servers are female. What's crazy to me is I've trained people and I train them on that. That's what I teach them is like, don't react. Don't let them get a reaction out of you. First of all, it looks bad on us and you professionally, but second, it fuels them. It makes them feel, it legitimizes what they're doing because they're like, look, now this server is giving me attitude, you know? So don't do that. But it's funny because the female servers I work with, they come back and I will like pay attention to what's going on. And I feel like they let stuff get to them far more than most male servers. I think it's just because we already know we have a certain burden of performance on the job when it comes to serving that we have to meet to make money. So we kind of keep more bottled up and trying not to express it outwardly. But you'll see these chicks like come back there and start talking so much crap about the guests. And then they will actually start getting reactionary to guests. And I was telling one the other day, I'm like, you can't do that. You can't be reactionary. Yeah, some people have logic to feel the need to scream at people for the littlest mistake. Yeah, there is a lot of entitlement. Again, I take it seriously though. As a server, I go, you know what? My job is to serve people. So in a sense, I am. I do look at it like I am lower than this person. They are my guest. They are paying me, etc. So there's a certain level of, you know, give I have to have on that. That doesn't mean I don't think it's right if somebody treats you wrong, you know.
Look, you do it to yourself. Next time she asks you for anything, tell her no, and if she doesn't like it, she can eat it.
Do that for me?
Get out of here.
How much is shot of Patrol?
$9.
$9?
Well, what'd you expect?
Let me get 2 strawberry lemonades.
We don't have that.
I know strawberry lemonade.
Sorry, dog.
Man, take a picture of us, dude.
Okay.
Man, take a picture of us.
Say happy couple.
Do you know what ranch your beef comes from?
Not off the top of my head, I sure don't.
Because I don't eat anything from Lehman Ranch because they still use hormones.
Yeah, so gross. So they're $5 each. If you'd like.
Yeah,
We can
so
do
gross.
that.
Anyways.
Cool, because I kind of like mine a little pan-seared.
We just want to get you the burger that you like.
Rad, thank you.
These people all pull this stuff off so well. I feel like every single person cast in these videos is in fact a server or has been.
Sorry, we're late. Anyways, if you fill out your burger form, I can take your order, okay? I'll be back in a minute. 5 or 10, I don't know, okay?
What the heck?
Yeah, we just need a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna need a minute. I'll have 2 shiners. You have any of that honey salsa stuff?
Ano pag gusto nyo? Green tea. Do you have any tea?
We're ready to order now.
They do. Okay. I'm actually really surprised because I didn't think going into this that I was going to like this channel as much. There is this other chick. I want to check out her channel here. I don't know. Because I don't always agree with other servers on things. Like we have shared common trauma, I guess it is. But there's people have disagreements on certain things. So I'm off stream. I'm probably going to check this chick's channel out and see what she has to say about stuff. Because she works at Olive Garden, which I used to work at. So that could be interesting. But when it comes to this here, the 3-year-olds are already learning from their parents how you're supposed to treat servers. But yeah, this channel so far is very good, very relatable. Communicating with your customers. Okay, that could be good. How far away were you? Yeah, right? Oh, there's the one. Who's cut? That was what I wanted to see.
It's a full moon and the weirdos are out.
Night.
You're doing great.
Has she been at that table all night?
Yeah, I've had that couple before. They're a little clingy.
Gross. Have you seen Mark?
Oh yeah, he and Natalia are back polishing each other off.
They're what?
Wait, what?
I said that they're polishing.
I like the uniforms at this place.
Sorry, did I interrupt something?
Oh my god.
It's all good.
It's all good. He just walks away.
I'm not gonna make tonight. All I want to do is just go home. You know, I just need to deal with my ex-girlfriend. Did you know that she threatened to burn down my apartment? Yeah, I kicked her out, but I kicked her out because she's crazy. Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's Jared.
Who's cut?
I don't know. No one.
Who's cut?
No, no, no.
Somebody's cut?
Dibs.
I wanna.
I'm calling dibs.
No.
I'm calling dibs.
It's so true. The fight.
You're not. A1 is off. A1 is off.
They said
I'm not
they
sure.
said it was cut. Goodbye.
Goodbye. It's such a weird, like, unless you've done it, and I know, like, people might briefly work in the service industry and get out, but like people who actually make this their regular job and to some level their career, there's a weird place you're at with it, because obviously it's kind of like a hustle. You go in, you want to try and make your money, you get sat, you work your tables, and you get that cash, right, every single day. But there's the side of it too where okay, we're not busy, I'm not making enough money, I might as well go home. This is a waste of my time. If I'm going to make $30 tonight, then why am I going to be here? I should just go. But then the next day, when you're broke and you come in, yeah. Have a leave order on the schedule? What do you mean by a leave order? I don't know. Ambo Jutsu match to see who's cut. But like it's one of those things where, like I said, probably at least half of the people that are servers or work in the service industry, bartenders, servers, just the whole staff in general, it's a leave order. Okay, now I know what you're. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about it. I was like, a leave order, but they're degenerates. You know, they typically have some sort of emotional, mental issues. They drink a lot. They smoke. They possibly do other substances. They're not faithful. They're all over the place. Their brain is frazzled and fried constantly, but they're good at what they do. Well, sort of. Okay, never mind. Not always good at what they do. But, you know, so you got, like, the people that are like that. And then you have the other people who are just like, I'm good at this. I need to make money. I need to deal with this BS. And they have, like, a high tolerance for stress. And those two people somehow, like, complement each other. The group of degenerates. And I don't necessarily, like, not like 4chan degenerates, but like degenerates of the real world. They're the people who are going to go out and drink and party and de-stress in those senses, and have all this other drama going on in their lives. And then the other people who are just kind of there to deal with them and also make money. But they kind of like balance each other out somehow, you know, like like the degenerates over here, they give you a little bit of perspective on the need to make the money and hustle and stuff, and then you're over here trying to keep them in line so that the whole place doesn't burn down. Where I currently work, there's not a lot of fighting over who goes home first. In most of the time in service, there are scheduled closers, so those people you know they are staying until close. And then usually it goes by FIFO, first in and first out. So if you showed up at 4 o'clock and someone else showed up at 4:30, then typically you're going to go before the person who shows up at 4:30. But each restaurant is different. Because like the restaurant I work at now, the most servers you'll have on at any one time is like 5 or 6. Whereas previously at other restaurants, like for instance Olive Garden, you could have 20 servers working, and then it's a little different because you had 5 people show up at 4 o'clock. So then there might be some variance, and then it's based on like, okay, we had all these people coming out at the same time and we need to cut. How full is their section? You know, if their section's already full and you're not going to be able to seat them anyways, then in some cases you might as well get rid of them. If their section is partly full and they could potentially get sat, but the other person is about to go empty, they're not going to have a table, well, then you should theoretically cut the person who's about to go empty, because then you can get them out of there and get them off your clock. True, if the place burns down, no one has to worry about who goes home first. I meant mostly like burning down in a mental state, but I guess that makes sense too. Yeah, let my let me force my productive people to stay so they work hard for me while letting the bums go home despite coming in an hour ago. Yeah, well, unfortunately, sometimes that's going to be the reality of it. If you got good people, they're going to be stuck. But I was telling somebody that the other day. I was like, you know, this is kind of my cycle with places. Now, obviously, I need a job, so I stick around. But this is my kind of the cycle I see with a lot of restaurants is you have somebody that comes in. At first, they kind of suck because they got to learn how that place works because everywhere is different in weird ways. Then they figure out how the place works. Then they get good at it. Then they're reliable. So they show up for every shift. They're doing well. They don't have any major issues, whatever. And you're like, cool. Now we finally have one of these people. And what do? You start piling more on top of them because, well, I can rely on them. They're going to be here. I know that I can trust them, whatever it is. Because it's hard to find, honestly. Like I said, half the people that work in service industry are degenerates. So you might want to watch your money around them, you know, that kind of thing. But you get the good people in, so finally as a manager or whatever, you're like, oh my God, I got somebody good. I can rely on this person. I can trust them. They're going to do good work for me, right? So then you start putting all this crap on them and you burn them out. And then that person either crashes and burns and they're no longer reliable, or they just say, screw this, I'm out. And they quit and they move on. It's kind of a pretty common cycle. Unfortunately, happens a lot. I mean, I've definitely done it in some places. Some places it's easier to tolerate the crap that they lay on you, and other places it's not so much, and you're just like, nope, I can't do this anymore. I gotta find somewhere else. But once you've been doing it for years, you're kind of like stuck. So you're just gonna end up at another restaurant down the road. But anywho, it is 2:30 in the morning here. I have a snack over here I'm going to get to work on and chill. I work tomorrow night. I am closing on karaoke night. So that's going to be pretty awesome. It's the worst night of the week, of course. But depending on how I feel when I get back from that, I might actually stream again. I might even have some experiences. But it tends to be for me that nights where I work are nights where I have a little more energy to, because I'm already been in motion for the night, then I might actually get on and stream late. So Chris H is new, but anybody else watching, my thing is I like to stream about midnight, somewhere in there. Withheld a payment for me because I got an order wrong. So, like, did they transfer the check from you to them, and that's why? Or do you mean, like, they just didn't let you have the tip? Because I've definitely, I've done it myself. Where where when I was a manager and I had to go essentially kind of rescue a table, I would transfer the check from the server's possession to mine so that they basically are no longer responsible for that table. But if they just straight up just didn't let you have the tip afterwards, that'd be weird. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty common, honestly. It does suck, but I would have it done to me, even if it wasn't necessarily like my fault. If it was just one of those times where things were not working out with a table, the manager would come over and they would basically assume control of the table, transfer it to me from them, or transfer it to them from me, and then that was it. I was no longer involved. But typically that doesn't happen very often. But yeah, like I said, typically I'm somewhere about midnight. I like to start pre-stream shortly before midnight and then keep going, like I said, because I'm a night owl, nighttime person, and I know that, for instance, other time zones, because I'm on the East Coast, so there's people, people that are going to come on that are 2 hours behind me, 3 hours, that kind of stuff. So, anyways, probably going to go ahead and jump off now. Like I said, I might be on tomorrow night after work, but this has been way more consistent than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to stream like twice a week, and so far in the week and a half that I've been doing this, I've already streamed I think like 5 times. So anyways, it was good to chat with everybody. Kind of fun to do the video game discussion at the beginning and then work over into the server stuff. So I'm gonna lead it out with some music. Thanks for joining us, Chris H and Cosmic Traveler and Matthew and Agent Tomcat and whoever else has jumped in or out, but we'll see you next time.